What's up guys, this is Brent with 24/7 Parts, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install the John Deere home maintenance kit on your John Deere X350 lawnmower. Now the kit that you're going to need is the LG265, so I'll go ahead and start by opening this up, showing you what all it comes in, and then we'll start doing the maintenance on this mower. Alright, starting out, let's go ahead and open up the kit. And within this kit is going to be everything that you need to do a annual maintenance on your mower. So we will have an oil filter, 2 quarts of 10W30 engine oil, an air filter with the pre-filter, 2 spark plugs, a fuel filter, and last but not least, a maintenance sticker here showing how many hours and the date that you did this last service. Now we want to keep in mind that when we're doing these services, we want to either do them every 50 hours or annually, or whatever your mower actually calls for in the operator manual. But here on the X350, we're looking at every 50 hours or annually. Now while we're here, real quick, let's talk about the tools that we're going to need. First off, we will need a drain pan and a funnel. Next, we'll need either an 8mm socket or 8mm nut driver like we have here. This is going to be used to take off this panel to make it easier getting to our oil filter. A pair of standard pliers to help with the fuel filter. Your choice of filter wrench. I have a cap style here and then also a strap style. Sometimes these filters are a little bit hard to take off, so you may need to go with a strap style to get a little better grip, but most of the time the cap style works great. Next is going to be a 3/8 ratchet with a 13/16 spark plug socket. Now this socket is going to have a rubber isolator right there in the middle. This just helps protect that spark plug whenever you're doing the change. And then last but not least is going to be a spark plug gap gauge. Now if you're not familiar with one of these, I'll show you more here in a minute how we go about using this when we're doing that spark plug change. I always like to start with draining the oil first. That way we can get that flowing, get things moving while we're changing our spark plugs and our air filter and our fuel filter. And then lastly, we'll go back on with our new oil filter. So first thing I'm going to do is remove this screw right here on the left hand side of the lawnmower. We've got one screw here in this panel that we're using that 8mm socket or nut driver to take loose. And after we've got that out, we can just pop that off, set it out of the way to give us more room to get here to our filter. Now our oil drain is right down here, right below our oil filter. So we're going to take our oil drain pan here, get it spun around and stuck right in here. Now what we have is just an easy twist off cap here, but sometimes these are a little tight. So this also will be a place where your pliers can come in handy. Now before we take that all the way off completely, we are going to take our oil fill and dipstick, take it out. Then we can simply just remove our oil cap here and let that oil start to drain. While that oil is draining, we'll move forward on the engine just a little bit here to our spark plugs. So first thing we're going to do is pull off the cap. Once we get that pulled off, then we're going to break out our 13/16 spark plug socket and ratchet. And we'll just start to loosen that off. Go ahead and break out our new spark plug. Now, before we go back in with this spark plug, these should be pre-gapped, and what we're talking about is the space between the top electrode here and the middle pin on that spark plug. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take our gap gauge here, and on this mower they should be gapped at 0.030. So where we're looking at is over here on the side. We're looking at being at this second set of markings here. So we'll take that, put it in the smallest side, run it around until we feel that resistance, and we are right there at the 0.030. So we are good to go. Now we'll go back in with the spark plug. So what we want to do is start this by hand until we feel it get tight just right up against the side of the engine. And then we're going to go about a half turn with our ratchet just to make sure that it is good and snug. We're going to put our cap back on. And just make sure we do this on the other side as well. Next, we're going to change our air filter. Very simple job. We're just going to lift up here, right here at the front of the engine, and then there is our filter. Now on the back side here, we actually have a clamp that has a twist nut on it, and I will swing that around so you can see that. We simply just have to loosen that up, and right there we can see that twist nut. Then we're going to simply just pull up and out on our old filter. And then since this one did not have a pre-cleaner filter on it, we're going to do it a favor and go ahead and put one on this filter since it does come in the kit. This is just going to help preserve the life of that filter. So we're going to go ahead and slap that on, raise up on our tube here, get that put back down into place, and then we'll just tighten down here on our clamp and then close the top. Now that we've got all the oil drained out, next we'll move to removing our oil filter and replacing that. So I'm going to start here with our cap style filter wrench and get that put on. Now I've actually got the center plug taken out, so that will also be a space for our 3/8 ratchet here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that to loosen. We'll see if we can get this filter to break loose. And just like that, we've got it loose. We can take this off the rest of the way. Now, once we've got that removed, we can go ahead and go back in here with our drain plug. And we'll take a blue shop towel here and go ahead and clean up this little bit of spillage and mess that we've got, and make sure we get rid of all of this dirty oil here around the filter base. And then before we go on with our new filter, we just always want to check and make sure that there isn't any of the remaining old gasket here around the rim. And then we also want to break out one of our new quarts of oil, get just a little bit of that on the end of our finger here, and coat the gasket here on our new filter just to make sure that we get a good seal. And we're going to go on here by hand and just get this good and hand tight, as we don't want these super tight on here to where they're hard to get off when we're doing that next change. Then lastly, we'll grab our funnel here and pour in our 2 quarts of oil. We'll go back in with our dipstick, give that just a minute to sit, and then we'll check the oil level. Then we want to make sure and replace our panel. So lastly is changing our fuel filter. Now this filter here is still in really good shape, and this isn't something that we necessarily have to do every 50 hours or annually, but this does need to be done from time to time. And if we were going to change out this filter, it's very simple. All we need to do is take back both of these clamps here with a set of pliers, make sure that they're back past where the end of that filter is, and then same thing here. Pull this back, and then next all we would need to do is remove our hoses from each end of the filter. And when we're going back on with the new filter, we want to make sure that we're putting it on the same way, going the same direction as when we took it off. Now there is an arrow on these filters. It's a little bit hard to see here, but this is going to indicate the direction of flow that the fuel is going. So we want to make sure that whenever it's going forward, that is going towards the engine. So the fuel is coming in here from the tank side, going through the filter, and then going to the engine side. Now the last thing to do is to go ahead and clean up any messes you may have made, and also make sure to fill out your date of service sticker with those hours and the date, and then go ahead and stick this somewhere on your dash or somewhere on your mower that you're going to see that. That way it'll help remind you when you need to do this service again. So guys, I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, we just ask you to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you need any parts, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to go buy your parts right here and subscribe right here.